Okay, so also keep in mind that you can keep going even if you think you made a mistake. Okay, because I can edit it out. So do you want to do an introduction as to who you are?
Before that, I want to tell you, you see that gentleman?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my friend. He's with me.
Okay.
The parts where I will be driving, he will be handling the camera.
Okay.
So I can drive safely and not give the image, oh, this guy's filming while he's driving, which is not good.
Yeah.
So I brought him with me. We are here. This place is exactly the entrance of the city center, which will be the first point. I can make an introduction.
Yep.
And then start going to the specifics. Let me just extinguish the cigarettes. Excuse me.
Yep.
This will not be on the...
No. So what I'm going to do is before you give an introduction, I'm going to introduce myself. And then right after that, I'm going to bounce it over to you to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. So are you ready to go?
Give me 1 to 5 seconds.
Okay.
I like this spot. Let's go.
All right. Okay, great. All right. Hi, everyone. This is Jacqui Cooper with JCooperTravels, and this is the first of many episodes of the Portugal adventure with Mario. I'm going to be letting him actually explain a little bit more about what we're doing today. But I met Mario when I was traveling in Portugal, and he was able to give my daughter and myself a wonderful tour of Sintra. And so we've reconnected so that way you can also virtually travel and know where to go whenever you're in the Portugal area, and also connect with him so he can give you a tour as well. Mario, how are you doing today?
Hi, good morning. Hi, everyone. I'm fine. Sintra today is especially pleasant. The weather is cool. Not much wind. We have some sun. Of course, Sintra has a very special weather, very unpredictable. Today we are lucky. I'm fine. I am going to give you guys a tour on my wonderful Sintra, what I normally call the mountain tour, in which I will assemble in 1 hour 4 monuments, the birth of the mountain, the nature and its relationship with the surroundings, making Sintra this wonderful place in history and also in nature and an example in ecology. That's what I'll try to bring to you guys.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, though, and how you came to become such a have a love of history and of Sintra. So why don't you share a little bit about your background, since I know you're a world traveler as well.
Well, my background is very different from what I do today. I worked 27 years in IT and in IT technologies. I traveled in Portugal and in other countries, especially Africa. And I had my company in that area. Then I decided to make a life change. It was a process that I went through. And today I'm a tour guide and a musician. And talking about tour guides and Sintras, well, behind me is the library where I used to come, and the old library, today is not the library anymore, where I used to come and make my searches. I call it my old Google. And because I'm from Sintra since 11. I was 11 years old. I came here, I became a Boy Scout, and without knowing how privileged I was able to explore this mountain and know it a little better, and the love started. So it's a love affair that I have with Sintra, and I try to share it in that passionate way.
So with the image that's behind you, you had mentioned that it has a lot of the different symbols for the area. Do you want to, I see the castle, I see the shield. Do you want to describe what we're seeing?
Yeah. So what we are seeing is in the center of the castle, which represents not only the history of Sintra, the Moors and the previous presences, but also the arrival of the Portuguese. It's almost a transition image of the territory from the history to the Portuguese hands. On it, we see the crescent, which symbolizes the Moors, but over it, we also see the crown, which symbolizes the Portuguese monarchy, which was very present. Around it, we have elements that bring us to, excuse me about the camera, other elements that bring us to other points of Sintra, like some monuments. I'm going to give you a detail here. The Dove.
Yep, I see the
This
dove. Yep.
Yeah, is a copy of paintings that we find in the National Palace, in which one of the rooms is painted with the doves, just like this. It's the Sala das Pegas, the room of the doves, and it has a very interesting story related to it. Maybe one day we'll make an inside tour inside that palace and we'll tell that story. So
That would be great.
Yeah, this is a collection then of elements of Sintra that give us our municipal symbol. Each municipality has its own, and they are all related to the history and the origins.
Where are you going to take us next?
Well, I'm going to take you to Pena Palace. That will be our last point, but before that, we'll have so much to see. Next,
Okay, great.
Be passing in the city center. I will now be wearing some headphones, and my friend will be filming from the back seats.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Miguel, hello, Miguel, my cameraman.
Welcome.
Okay. So I need a second just to make the shift to the vehicle.
Not a problem.
All right, thank you. I hope Miguel does not pull it too far, so I don't get the audio off, and we are ready to go. So excuse me for this first part. Maybe it will be a little shaky while we are getting in the vehicle, but
And that's okay. So everyone who's watching and listening, when you are when you're in Portugal and in Sintra, you have the option of going on what's called a tuk-tuk, which is a small little vehicle, and that vehicle can go up roads and hills. And so Mario is in his tuk-tuk right now. He's getting situated so that way he can give us a live tour as if we're in the back of his tuk-tuk.
yeah, maybe I should introduce my tuk-tuk. You just spoke about it, so
Yeah.
let me show you the vehicle.
Yeah.
The tuk-tuk has its origin in the eastern, in Indonesia, and it has many names: rickshaw, tuk-tuk. It's a small vehicle. It's a three-wheel vehicle with a small 200cc. Excuse me. All right, with a small 200cc engine, which allows us to have a vehicle that is small enough to have a good flow in the narrow streets of Sintra. It is open, so you can open the ceiling and people can have a bigger contact with the surroundings and a better view. And also it's very economic. Of course, we are talking about Sintra. Sintra is a place of nature and history. So the ideal vehicle for Sintra can be a tuk-tuk, but maybe an electric one. And me personally, I'm aiming for that target in my work in the future, to not be polluting while I'm working.
And I also wanted to share with everyone who's listening and watching, Sintra is not flat. As Mario mentioned, it's built on a mountain. So when you're walking or driving, there are very steep roads that twist and turn. And so you definitely, there's so much to see, but having a small vehicle like this makes it very handy to get around.
Yes, you drive it like you drive a motorcycle. There you go. It's like a Vespa motorcycle. And I think it's ideal. It's a very good experience. Children love it. The tuk-tuk has a sales tool sells itself just by its presence. Although, because normally we find tourists on the train station, on the city center, etc., and people walk to us and we show them our products, and then we agree on one of them, and then we start the tours. The tuk-tuk in Sintra does not have the best, how do I say, reputation, because some tuk-tuk drivers have been not creating a good reputation because of the way they drive, and some of them don't have the culture to be really tour guides in Sintra. So I think we in this area we need some laws to make people be tested to see their knowledge, etc. Because it's not just you need more than just a driving license to be a tour guide.
Well, and very true, because what really made our experience, Ariana and my experience, so special in Sintra, you shared all the history and you brought it to life. And that was what made it so exciting. If we had just had someone who pointed to a building and said, well, this is, XYZ, it wouldn't have been as exciting. And to learn about the people who live there and the stories and the drama and the romance and everything else, because again, Sintra has a very rich culture. So why don't you go ahead and take us to the next spot?
Let's go, sir. Let's start. I'm gonna give the camera to Miguel.
Okay, great.
He will be now taking care of this. I'm gonna just give him the controls. And so let me see, how do I turn this around? So, excuse me. I'm sorry, Jacqueline. I'm kind of a Zoom initiate.
That's okay. That's all right. Yep, for you, there's a little button that probably will, on the screen, it flips the camera.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Mute, stop, share, participants, more. Chat request, view, full transcript, meeting settings, connect audio, raise hand. Emoticons, not here. This is you. How about here? Oh, there you go. Found it. I think you were covering it with your small screen.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Done. Now Miguel has the hands on the camera, and I have the hands on the wheel.
Great.
Okay, guys, let's have fun. Miguel will show us the fun part, the exterior of the tuk-tuk. That's what's important now. The monuments. And he's saying if image gets a little shaky. I was thinking this last night about this, and I thought that maybe GP could be a good cameraman for a future action. Well, on the right of the tuk-tuk, we see there the oldest royal palace in Portugal, Sintra National Palace, built by the first king of Portugal. The construction started in the 12th century, although it was a construction in a very long construction that took 300 years, very different phases, and it resulted in the palace that I will show you later in the tour. I will speak more about this palace from the top of the hill. We will see it very well. And now I will show you a very interesting point, which is the road that brings us out of the city center to the rest of Sintra. It's me personally, I call it the artist sidewalk. As you can see on the left, this sidewalk has artists selling their craft.
Yeah,
they have a free license from the city hall that allows them to be here today. Since it's a little cold, I find it a wonderful day, but it's actually a little cold to be here all day. Not many are here, but we see the statues.
I see the statues, and I remember that. That was one thing that I was very impressed with in the parks, that there was art and there was also Wi-Fi, so people could actually enjoy the whole experience.
Well, Portugal is in the western part of Europe. We are connected to the most important submarine cables of the internet, and here is the Moorish fountain.
Yep, I see the fountain.
Yeah, it's, as you can see, it's a Moorish style, Islamic style fountain that actually has an interesting story. It used to be somewhere else, some 500 meters behind us, And now it's here because it was disassembled on the previous location. It stood on a storage yard for about 20 years, and then they assembled it here in another spot. And it's one of the biggest attractions for the people who arrive in Sintra and are walking to the city center. From the train station to the city center is 10 minutes, and this is in that way. And people love to make pictures here because it's a very amazing fountain. I will send you pictures of this fountain at night because the illumination is really amazing. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. If you do, I have a reel where I put the fountain by day and by night for us to see the difference.
Definitely. Everyone should follow Mario on Instagram. About how old is the fountain?
Well, this fountain is from the 19th century.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the romantic period of Dulceman, and also it's a fountain that makes an allusion to of the Moors in this territory. Portugal is a country with its own culture, but the culture of Portugal is a result of its history, like everyone. And the presence of the Moors here was very, very big, long, more than 400 years. And that left us with a lot of heritage from the Moors in our culture, and that has not been forgotten. And that this is an allusion to that contribution to who we are today. I'm making a small stop on a very interesting spot, in my opinion, of this sidewalk from the city center to the train station. I'm stopping the vehicle and I'm going to walk there a little bit just to show you some aspects that sorry my headphone fell. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all part of the live experience that people like.
Wait, now I can hear you. I'm really sorry. I couldn't hear you.
I was gonna say that's all part of the live experience, so it's all good.
All right. So as you can see, this is the sidewalk, the statues. You were speaking about Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I see it.
This is a Wi-Fi antenna. We have them all over the town, and they provide us with what I'm going to show you now. Sintra Wi-Fi, free access, free internet access for everyone. You can find the network, and that's all.
Yeah.
If you want, you scan the QR codes, and that's it. So here in Sintra, you are always connected. You can always share experiences or be reachable. Here in the city town and also in the monuments. So people in Portugal have a great experience with communications. I was saying we are in the west extremity of Europe, and that makes us connected to the most important network cables, submarine cables in the Atlantic. And we have great communications. From here, I will walk you a little bit more, some more statues.
Yep.
The castle is behind us, behind the statue there. You can see always if the light allows us to do filming.
Yeah.
There's a Moorish castle, there we go.
So that's the Moorish castle, everyone, that we're gonna be talking about later.
Yeah, we will be right under it. And it's an amazing castle that was built in the 8th century, which I will tell you later, the story of this castle. I'm over a garden. Actually, this road makes a U. The road comes from there, the city center, and it will go on the other side of this garden. That's where we came from. That's the old library. And then we made the curve there, and we are here. It's like a U curve. And under, there is a garden, which is also a parking lot. So in Sintra, you're always in the green, a lot of nature. I want to show you a peek of another angle of the Sintra National Palace, which I referred a little before, and which I will be telling you the story in some minutes when we find ourselves over the city hall. We will be going around and we will be passing on that road that passes on top of the city hall. You see the yellow building? That's the road.
Yep, I see the yellow building. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you remember a wall where we were looking to the village, looking below? That's the spot. And then from there, I will describe Sintra National Palace and tell you all details, including what are those two towers on the top of the building?
Yep.
Okay, guys. So back to the vehicle. Here you see, today is a quiet day, Sunday, not many people. Sintra is always a place has always been a place with big properties. This is a state house that dominates this whole sidewalk. So this house starts there in the beginning of the sidewalk, at the end in the right. And there you go. Sintra is about old money also.
So you told me a lot when we were there about the large estate homes and how some of them were owned by families and then empty, and then people came back and started to rebuild them. There are the small buildings and the large buildings. Do you want to talk a little bit about the culture of Sintra?
Well, yeah, Sintra, in terms of today, the real estate business is in a very high point, very good moment, very positive, because of the interest that Sintra has, brought by tourism, increased by tourism, because Sintra was always an interesting place. And with the arrival of the award from UNESCO in 1995, I'm sorry, Sintra became much more appealing and interesting in terms of business. So a lot of the real estate, the houses that were abandoned by families that had conflicts in making the divisions after somebody left, somebody died. So some of them were abandoned. Now they have a new interest and people are investing. So tourism has many positive aspects in Sintra. One of them is work, it brings work for a lot of people. And the second one is the renewal of the Sintra's patrimony. And here, being an UNESCO recognized patrimony, we have very strict rules regarding construction, and we have as the most important rule: do not change things. So if you buy an old house, you are directed by these rules, in which you can make whatever you want in the inside, but the outside has to be kept. So Sintra can continue to be this charming town.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. So I will be showing you some examples of what I just told you about, the degradation, the abandon, and also the recovery. I will be showing you during our small trip some examples. Miguel will now pick the phone. I'll pick the wheel, and we continue.
Okay, great.
There you go, Miguel. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
All right.
And this is just like what the tuk-tuk tour would be, because Mario would stop and show us and share, and then we'd continue on. So when you have a tuk-tuk experience, you're moving all around, you're getting a real sense as to the various places that from history to where people go right now.
Yeah, we are now in front of a place which is Fábrica das Verdadeiras Queijadas de Sapa. So it's where they make sweets from Sintra, a very traditional one, queijada, which is a traditional cake from Sintra. And this house exists since the 18th century, the middle of the 18th century, 1756. So it's very, very old. It's 1 year after the French Revolution.
So for those that are listening, it's a two-story White House, and it is very charming. So definitely go over to the vlog side so you can see a picture of it.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Next, I have a jewel to show you. Oh, guys, we're talking about tuk-tuks. Maybe Miguel can show us other models of tuk-tuks. We have for 4 people. My friend is saying hi. We have for 2 people. We have this one, which is a replica of an old car.
Yes, it is.
And it's electric, which is very good. It's oldest, but it's more modern than mine because it's already electric. Okay, guys, what is this? This building here is the city hall. What's happening, Miguel? Oh, sorry. Okay, let me start again. Miguel, I was pushing the cable. I was not letting him do his job. Sorry. Okay, let me start. All right, guys, this is Sintra City Hall. The City Hall of Sintra is built in 1903. So it's actually 20th century. The construction, of course, began in the 19th century. And the reason is to be fair to the citizens. That's why it was built here. Let me explain. I have to leave the vehicle. Maybe this will take more than an hour, Jacqueline. This is just a parenthesis between me and you, because I'm giving you more content that normally I have to give in 1 hour, because I think this trip is worth it. So if you can cut it then to your desire, right?
It's okay. Do whatever you need to do.
Okay. I just want to show you something at this point. It's totally perfect. Sintra's population started 10,000 years ago, which is a story that I will be more detailed in a little bit. And where did they start? They started on the top of the mountain where I'm showing you. It was a Neolithic man. It was prehistory, but it was there, using those big, gigantic rocks as shelter. From 10,000 years ago until the 8th century. What happened in the 8th century? The Moors are here. They built that castle. And 200 years later, in the 10th century, the same Moors come down and they create the village. The village was around a castle, a medieval castle built by the Moors, a little bit just like the castle on top of the mountain. But this castle was replaced by the Portuguese, by this palace that you are seeing in the image, in the 12th century with the arrival and conquering of this territory by the Portuguese. So, first phase, second phase, top and hills. Well, finally, in the 19th century, what arrives in Sintra? The train. And the train arrives in this area here. The train station is actually on the top of this street. And as the train station arrives on the top of this street, this neighborhood is built. And all of these people who are living here became more than the ones living in the city center. So that justified the building of the city hall between the two areas. The city hall is I find it very beautiful building. It's a revivalist Manuelino style. The Manuelino style is from the 16th century, the time of the discoveries. And this building tried to bring this atmosphere to Sintra with this revivalist Manuelino style built in the 20th century. This is the main building of the city hall, and there we see the flags that identify it as Portugal, Europe, and Sintra. In Sintra, we also have many fountains, and the art in Sintra is always present. And actually, I have some music coming from somewhere. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm watching. I'm taking it all in. I'm remembering the tour that you gave us, and so
Right.
yeah, it's definitely bringing back memories.
Okay, guys. Now back to the tuk-tuk. Maybe I can show you something else outside of tour, the tour context, but I don't know what to do with it, I guess. This is a very typical story in Sintra. Sintra, like any touristy place, we have these stores that will sell us a lot of different products. And one of them is cork.
Yes, a lot of cork, yes.
Yeah. In Portugal, we use cork to do so many things. The practical things would be sound isolation, temperature isolation, floors for playgrounds, utensils for kitchen, but also for decoration and wallets and everything. So Sintra has a lot of commerce going around this material, cork. And we in Sintra, we are the biggest producers of cork in the world.
And I remember seeing the cork tree and how big it was and everything else like that. So that's definitely part of my memories.
Oh yeah, you're going to see a cork tree today, because I will be passing. We will be walking in the forest. We'll be walking in the forest, and you will be seeing that. Olá, boa tarde.
Tem alguma avaria?
Não, peço desculpa. Eu estou a trabalhar, mas é de uma forma diferente. Estou a gravar o meu tour para uma. Estou em direto dos Estados Unidos. Então estava-lhes a mostrar a câmera. Peço desculpa.
É uma exceção, não é?
Estou a tentar vender os meus produtos pela internet, que eu estou farto de vender na rua.
Tem que fazer um bocadinho à vida, não é?
Sim, amigo. Não há trabalho? Faz trabalho.
Sim, senhora.
Obrigado. Bom dia.
So that brings up another interesting
Sorry,
point,
it was the
Mario.
police.
That's okay. Mara,
Oh,
that
wait,
brings up-
please. I can't hear you. It jumped
Okay.
from my ear.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you speak more than one language. How many languages do you speak?
Oh, my languages, my language skills. There you go. Miguel, can you please focus here? Portuguese, English, Spanish, and French. These languages, I'm fluent in them. I also can understand totally or almost totally Italian language. And of course, being an African, I speak Creole from Cabo Verde. And sometimes I use it in my tours because sometimes I have fellow Cape Verdeans here. These two gentlemen, the policemen, they were talking to me just now because I was not well parked, but they understood the reason of my parking. They were really nice. So the train station. Here we are, the terminal. Here the people arrive in Sintra on the train. This train line brings people to Sintra in 40 minutes. When they arrive here, as you can see, tourists find tour guides. So it's the matching point. And it's from here that some tours start when we get these clients, when we meet these clients in the train station. And a normal tour starting in the train station will be something like what will follow, okay?
Yep.
So normally the first thing, of course, is to understand who I am with. I always welcome people to Sintra. And I try to understand if they have anything that calls my attention for a special kind of interest, history, nature, whatever, and I try to also focus, otherwise I am generalistic. But I always pass all the information, but it depends on the format. The format will depend on the person. When we start after the train station, guys, I want you to look back, because you just arrived in Sintra. I want you to look back for the first time and see the mountain on the top.
Yeah, I see the mountain. Definitely see the mountain.
That is the mountain, and here I will zoom in, and we see that the mountain is dominated on top by the Moorish castle.
That is definitely the landmark that you see from different parts of the city.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see very well, but the castle is surrounded by some elements, stones.
Yes.
Can you distinguish?
I can definitely see the stones. Yes.
All right, and I'm gonna, Miguel, please. These stones that we just saw were the first home of humans. Excuse me.
That's
I
okay.
have cable. Next time I'll have to. Sorry, wait, please. Next time I'll have to find myself a Bluetooth headset.
It's okay. This is part of the live experience. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay. So I was telling you, Neolithic man meets Sintra 10,000 years ago. Neolithic period, prehistory period. Why were they here? Well, they needed shelter. They needed to eat, like everybody. And being on top of Sintra, they found both things. They found shelter on the stones. The stones, some of them create caves, Some of them create spaces under them, and the Neolithic man was living using them as shelter. Well, they are on top. If you are on top, you can see the surroundings very well, because Sintra is surrounded by flat lands. We will see that as we go up. Now we are starting the climb. We will slowly going up. So being on top, they could dominate the hills around them and see the animals they would want to hunt. So that would give them a double advantage and would satisfy two very basic needs that they had. The history of Sintra is a passage of different cultures that already later in the historic period settled here. And to make that, to give some sense, for this to make sense, I'll have to give you a geographic position of Sintra. And that geographic position is the westernmost point in Europe. Give me just a second. Miguel, can you film from the outside so the glass won't appear? Thank you very much. So I was telling you, Sintra is a mountain that goes for 10 kilometers, about 6 miles, from the point where we are to the west, with a height of 1,500 feet. The highest point is around 1,500 feet. And it's in the end of Europe. And during the history of Europe, we had many civilizations migrating to the west, escaping from occupants or from invaders, or just exploring. And as they would arrive here in Sintra, they would find the end of the road, because we are the most western point in Europe. They would find the Atlantic Ocean. We are talking before the discoveries, navigation was not what it is. So people had to stay here. And why not settle in the highest point so you can have the advantage of altitude, which at those periods of the history, it was important not for hunting animals, but not to be hunted, for defense. So they stayed there, and they could see very early if somebody was approaching Sintra. Talking about these civilizations, I will go, for example, 3,000 years ago. We had the presence of the Celtics, the Celts. They were here, as they were a little bit all over the Iberian Peninsula. Iberian Peninsula will be what is today the territory occupied by Portugal and Spain. These two countries were, this area is known as the Iberian Peninsula, and at that time there were no frontiers like today. And as people passed the Pyrenees Mountains, which is the division between Spain and France, they would find themselves in a big plain, and in the end, they would find Sintra, not continue and stay here. The Celts were here 2,000 years ago. The romantic Celts, they loved the moon, they worshipped the moon, and they had a very special and strong relationship with the moon. And in this fountain, they found a meaning. They said that this mountain was the mountain of the moon, because they on their vision, the moon would come every night and embrace her love, come around, make the tour around the mountain. So the mountain of the moon. And the goddess, the Celtic goddess for the moon was Cynthia, and that brings us to the special part of the name of Sintra. Its original name, Cynthia. So this mountain is a lady. It's the mountain of the moon, the lover of
the moon. That's beautiful.
Yes. And Cynthia, this name that we today say Sintra, why did it become, what happened for it to become Sintra instead of Cynthia? Well, this was 3,000 years ago. And after the Celts, we had many different civilizations here that occupied and were here for different periods of time with more or less influence. And each one of them received the name from the previous. So the Celts passed the name on to the Iberian to the Romans to the barbarians to the Visigoths, to the Moors, finally the Moors to the Portuguese.
And by phonetic deformation, the name changed from Cynthia to Sintra. If you come back here in 500 years, maybe you'll be something else. We'll see. Today is a day in which I am lucky enough to be able to show you the bi-monthly market. It happens.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, it happens twice a month on the second and fourth Sunday of each month. So today, me and Miguel will stroll you a little bit around it. You can use this in another
Yeah, for sure.
context if you want, but I think it's interesting to capture. So an overview, and I can tell you this market is not what it used to be when I was a boy. This place was full of energy and life. Now I find it a little nostalgic and very different.
Well, it also might be because of the time period that we're living in with the pandemic. So,
Yes.
you know, everything is relative to the safety of people right now.
I totally agree, and let's see that example right now. Well, first, when does it happen? Second and fourth Sunday of the month. So you cannot park here on the second and fourth Sunday. You are talking about security, and as we arrive, we are received by these signs. Wash your hands, use your mask, keep your distance. So now I have my mask. You can stay without one. And I'll be showing some local products. Olive oil, all kinds.
Wow, look at that. That's wonderful. For the foodies who love food, this is definitely
yeah.
a place to go.
Cheap cheese, not cheap, not expensive. The animal, how do you say sheep? Sheep.
Yeah, sheep. Yeah, sheep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sheep cheese. Ham with bone.
Yeah.
Oh, we have so much variety in food. The goat cheese, and you can actually see the prices and make a comparison.
Yeah, no, it's great. I know that we had talked about doing different episodes about the food within
Yeah.
Portugal. So this is definitely tying into future episodes that everyone can like and subscribe.
There you go. Honey, olive oil. You know, olive oil and the olives. It's a heritage from the Romans. The Romans taught us many things. And I told you, we had many different cultures here. And one of the things that the Romans left here, besides building roads, aqueducts, and bridges, was also food and other habits. This is amazing. They are making the bread right here.
Yeah.
There you go. And they're eating also. So it's a kind of a private moment they're having.
Yeah.
And this bread, we'd make it with sausage. So it's very good.
It definitely looks delicious.
There you go. Muito obrigado, senhor. And this bread with sausage made right here by this lady and that lady and that lady. And it's very, very good. There you go. Miguel just bought one.
Oh, nice. Nice, nice.
Oh, yeah. It's almost a meal. Here we have the patio with some very typical restaurants.
Yeah.
I know these restaurants since I was a boy. My parents used to bring us here on special occasions. And there is one actually that has music, live music. And this is a patio that only has a restaurant. So no traffic, no confusion, just quiet and good food. I'm not gonna go there. People are eating. I don't want to disturb them.
Yeah, we'll do a different episode just about the restaurants and food.
Yes, yes. All right, so let's continue. Another restaurant, St. Peter's Corner, the little corner of St. Peter. That's the perfect translation.
Now that brings up another thing that I noticed. On some of the walls, there would be pictures of people or plaques with history. Is there a reason why on the walls that that information was placed?
What are you referring to?
I thought when we walked, sometimes there might be plaques of information or history on the wall.
Yeah, okay, I know. By the city center and up to the train station area, the city hall made, in my opinion, a very good work of placing some plaques with pictures and some historic context.
Mm-hmm.
And they are in the places to which they refer. For example, the fountain, the story of the fountain that was moved has a plaque telling you with a picture of the old localization of the fountain, that Moorish fountain we saw before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they will show us the place where we are some years ago. So we can see the changes that Sintra had, and also how Sintra was some years ago.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history.
Oh, yeah. There is an interesting story I just heard about. They tried to build a parking lot by the Moorish castle when there was still private traffic in the mountain when you could go with your car to the palace, which today you can't. You can only go with a guide or with a bus or a taxi. You cannot take a private car because it's too much people for a very narrow road.
Yes.
And,
yep, I see the tuk-tuk.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just got lost in my thoughts.
About the road up to the Moorish castle and the private land.
Yeah, but there was
That's okay.
You asked me something.
It was what we were talking about was about the plaques of the history and the just making sure that people knew, what was there before.
Yeah, well, I will go back to where my mind was, because I was making an introduction to something. Anyway, I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I got distracted by the tuk-tuk. So now we can continue our tour. Let's call it a parenthesis, the market. And I'm sorry if I'm not the best cameraman.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Miguel says he's the best. I'm kidding. He didn't. He's a very, sorry. Okay. He's a very humble man, so he wouldn't say that. Okay, Miguel, there you go. Thank you. Please don't take it from my ear. Okay. Are you there, Jacqueline?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, I think we lost. Oh, he closed the app. He didn't close the app. He just. All right. Yeah, all right.
That's okay.
Go back. All right.
Yep.
You there?
Yep.
Hello.
We're all here. Yep.
Okay. So guys, our tour. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you great.
All right. So I just told you the origin of the name of Sintra, Cynthia, the lady, the goddess of the moon for the Celts. And now we will continue. We are crossing the neighborhood of St. Peter. We are crossing the neighborhood of St. Peter because this will take us to the city center. It will be the area where we'll go next I will be showing you a very typical street that I really like. Because of these houses that are so typical at this time of year, not so interesting, but in 6 months, these houses will be green because they have plants on the facades, and they will cover the whole front part of these houses, and they are amazing. And that brings us to the subject of nature, the always present nature in Sintra. I have a phrase that I normally tell my tourists to try to illustrate my point of view of Sintra, which is the following. Some people say that Sintra has a lot of trees around the houses. Me, I see some houses between the trees. Sorry. Hello.
I'm here. And I agree about the plants. I know that when the flowers, when we were traveling in September, everything was abloom, and it was so beautiful to see the different colors.
Right. Yes. Give me just a second. I have to make a small conversation here with Miguel. Miguel, try to pass me messages by signs. Don't speak because we are recording. I'm sorry, okay? So, Jacqueline, let's continue. Sorry. Okay, I know now what Miguel wanted. Okay. So we're talking about the subject of the plants, how they are amazing and how they make this place so special. At the same time, you're in a village, but aren't you in a forest in a way? Because it's always there. Look at these walls, how they are so green and full of plants everywhere. Now it's fall time. You don't see so many leaves. These plants that you see here, coming from Canada, they don't have any leaves. But at the period you were here, they were green, and 2 months ago they were red and yellow and orange. It was amazing.
That's why when we do different times, tours at different times, our visitors who are watching will be able to see different colors and the changes.
I think it would be great to make like a 3 months period between each, to have in the end 1 year of season.
Yes, well, I know that you and I have talked about doing conversations about different historical buildings. And so over that time, we're going to be showing everyone that connects with us so much.
Yes. Well, now I am in a place that I really like.
I remember this.
And I will take now the camera from Miguel. Obrigado, Miguel. And I will be presenting you the magic of Sintra. Let's go. Okay. Showing you a little bit of the nature of Sintra, we see something that is really a characteristic of Sintra. Look at this. Tropical plants.
Yeah.
Going over this wall, looking down. Look at my town. Wherever I look, so many different species, always green. This is where I was showing, that point is the road where I was showing you the gardens in the beginning, right in the beginning. So now I'm on top and I'm in front of something. Get ready.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
The fountain of Sabuga. This fountain is for me a symbol of what Sintra represents. It's not only this, but most of them or all of them, because they bring to us a very special thing, the water. This fountain was built in 1757.
1757, amazing.
Yeah, 18th century. And I believe that this flow of water never stopped. It's always flowing. This water is not coming from any deposit. It's not on the water network. It's from nature. This is the mountain giving us water. It's a rare moment now. No local is here filling bottles. I wish I was lucky to show you that, but you will have to believe me. This
Yes.
fountain, it's very often searched by locals with the bottles of 5 liters, or these big bottles, and they fill them and take home to drink. As you can see, this fountain has these 2 taps. They look like breasts in a way, and because this fountain has a tail associated to it, they say that the water of this fountain brings fertility. So some used to call it the lover's fountain, fountain of fertility, the love fountain. Well, after I explain to you where this water comes from, maybe you'll have your own idea of what this fountain meant, but let's go. Well, I'm going to show you some elements here to be able to explain to you. In the end of this street, on the horizon, we have the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
I'm now pointing my camera at you, Jacqueline, because I'm pointing west and I'm pointing to the United States.
Yes.
So right in front of me. And in my face, I'm feeling a northwest wind coming from there. It's hitting my face. And this northwest wind that comes from the ocean finds the mountain which is in this direction, a barrier. And this vegetation creates condensation and captures the humidity from the air. And it's this humidity, this water captured from the humidity, that is drop by drop given to the earth. And it will fill the how do we say, phreatic deposits under the soil, under the surface, and that's the water that we drink. So this is a water that is extracted by the plants from the air and given to us by humans. Why do we drink it? Well, this mountain is a big, gigantic rock covered with earth. Imagine a rock with 6 kilometers going from here to the ocean, covered with a layer of earth. I will explain that how that happened later, and which makes that we have a lot of stone under the surface, and this stone filters this water. This is mineral water, guys. Mineral-free water all year, every year. Okay, I know this place for, let me see, 41 years. I never heard it stop. And I believe it's going to continue for many years. So it's very rich in water. And now you know where this water comes from. It comes from the relationship mountain, wind, ocean, and here we are on top of the city center. Now that you know where the water comes from, you know that this water has no fertility properties. We will continue our pathway there. And here, the lovers would come up the street and find themselves together and alone on a cozy place with no wind. And fertility is explained. There we go. Another tuk-tuk.
Yep, another tuk-tuk.
And now, continuation. Next step, city center.
Okay, great.
This is just like a parenthesis. My colleague stopped there, so I don't want to stop behind him. I want him to open the road, and then I'll continue, okay?
That's fine, not a problem.
All right.
I am going to stop the recording and then restart it.
Okay.